Right, my Rangers friends, there's still plenty to talk about regarding the robbery in the final against Celtic, and I promise you won't want to miss a second of it. I'll quickly go over those inexplicable penalty decisions before getting into player sales and signings, and of course, Chris Sutton spouting his usual nonsense. Just wait until you hear what he called a load of rubbish. It's classic Sutton, but this time he might have taken it too far, but that's just the start. Patrick Stewart is already making waves as Rangers' new CEO, going straight for the SFA's jugular over that VAR farce. Could overseas referees be the answer? I'll tell you all about it. Then there's Cyril Desires, who might be packing his bags for France, and a potential big money exit for one unbelievable Rangers star. Could this finally be the sale that puts us back in the game financially? And just when you think it's over, Rangers have been scouting in Morocco again, with rumors linking us to a new centre-back who could follow in Hamza Igamane's footsteps. So stick around because this video is packed with everything you need to know, and trust me, I've got some questions that'll get the debates flying in the comments. Let's get into it. Another day, another dodgy decision that leaves you scratching your head and wondering what on earth the officials were watching. Tom English is spot on, isn't he? That tug on Václav Cerny was as clear as a crisp Glasgow winter morning. How VAR sat there twiddling its thumbs while we were robbed blind is beyond me. I mean, come on, if that happens anywhere else on the pitch, it's a foul every day of the week and twice on a Sunday. So why is it different in the box? Now, fair play to the lads for pushing Celtic to penalties, especially after their late winner that wasn't looked to have sealed it, but that decision will stick in the craw for a while. Imagine the scenario: the penalty gets given, Big Tav steps up, smashes it in, and suddenly it's party time for the Rangers fans. Instead, we're left staring at the ceiling, thinking about what could have been. And as for butchering a 4-on-1 counter, that'll haunt us just as much. Felt like watching a bunch of Sunday leaguers with their laces tied together. It's hard not to dwell on what went wrong, but let's be honest, it's time to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves off. There's still plenty of football to play, and the focus has to shift to Dundee this weekend. The fight for the league isn't going to win itself after all, but let me ask you this. If that exact foul on Cerny happened at the other end, would it have been given as a penalty for Celtic? Is there a double standard at play when it comes to decisions against us? Chris Sutton at it again, talking as if he's the oracle of Scottish football. To be fair, Ian Ladyhead's comment about a Rangers win being handy for the Scottish game does have a bit of truth to it, doesn't it? Not that I'd expect Sutton to see past his usual bias. A Rangers victory at Hampton would have thrown a right cat among the pigeons, shaken up the narrative, and injected a bit of excitement into the league race. Handy for Scottish football? You could say it was essential to stop things looking like the same old story. Let's not pretend here. Rangers put up a fight. It was a proper battle, and on another day, it could have been us lifting that trophy instead of standing there feeling like we'd been punched in the gut. Clement's men showed flashes of real quality, and let's be honest, you can't watch that performance and say the man doesn't have a plan. He's still got plenty of critics, but surely that game earned him a bit of slack, no? Now, Sutton can scoff all he wants, but it's clear as day that a strong Rangers is good for Scottish football. The league doesn't look half as competitive when one side's running away with everything, and deep down, even the most deluded Celtic fan knows that. But here's a thought for you to chew on. Does Chris Sutton actually hate to see Rangers do well? Or does he just know he'll get a reaction out of us every time he opens his mouth? Is he obsessed with us, or is he just playing the pantomime villain for attention? Well, welcome to the madhouse, Patrick Stewart. Straight into the deep end with a whistle and VAR circus waiting for you. Forget fancy boardroom handshakes and PR fluff. It looks like sorting out the SFA is right at the top of his to-do list. And quite right, too. That penalty decision wasn't even a grey area. It was so black and white you could have seen it from outer space. Now, John Beaton getting the initial call wrong is one thing. Referees are human, fine. But then VAR stepping in and still failing to do its job, that's where it tips into farce. Alan Muir must have had his telly switched off or been watching something else altogether. Bobby Madden called it perfectly. Beaton didn't even need a monitor visit. It was a blatant foul inside the box, and any half-decent officiating team would have seen it. The real kicker here is that this isn't just a one-off. It's a pattern. Time and again, decisions go against us, and somehow it's always in the moments that matter most. It's no wonder Stewart's demanding answers from Willie Collum and the SFA because, let's face it, Rangers fans have had enough of this pantomime. An apology doesn't put silverware in the cabinet, does it? And now the big question, do we need to start pushing for independent officials or even bringing in overseas refs for matches like this? It's happened before, and let's be honest, the Scottish refereeing establishment doesn't exactly inspire confidence. Pressure from Celtic back in the day led to a referee strike, so why shouldn't Rangers ask for fair treatment now? It's only right. But I'll leave you with this one. If we don't start seeing changes soon, do you think Rangers should refuse to play another old firm game under SFA-appointed officials? Would that force their hand? Or is it just asking for trouble? Well, you can't say it hasn't been coming, can you? Cyril Dessers' time at Rangers feels like it's slowly fizzling out, and now Saint-Etienne have reportedly come sniffing around for the Nigerian striker. Given his patchy form and a goal return that's left most of us shaking our heads, it might just be the best solution for everyone. Let's face it, when you're watching Big Jack Butland step up for a penalty before your starting striker, the writing's on the wall. Dessers arrived with plenty of expectation during Michael Beale's summer shopping spree. £4 million isn't exactly pocket change, but while he's had his moments, missing sitters and disappearing in the big games has turned him into a bit of a punchline among the support. You can score 20 goals all you want, but when they come against teams from the bottom half and not when the pressure's on, it doesn't mean a whole lot. Now, if Philippe Clement has genuinely turned to Danilo and Hamza Igamane as his go-to options up top, then Dessers is surplus to requirements, plain and simple. Saint-Etienne could be doing us a favour here. £3.5 million sounds like a decent bit of business, especially if it's a loan with an option to buy. Gives everyone a bit of breathing room, he gets a fresh start, and we get the chance to offload him permanently if things go to plan. But here's the real question. Does this just show how badly the Michael Beale era messed up our recruitment last summer? From £4 million flops to inconsistent performers, are we still paying the price for decisions made under his watch? It's funny how football works, isn't it? 1 minute you're lamenting a gut-wrenching loss at Hampton, and the next you're looking at players who could be our next big payday. Enter Nicholas Raskin. He's been quietly doing the business in that midfield, and if Rangers are going to close the financial gap with that lot across the city, selling players like Raskin for a tidy profit is exactly what we need to start doing. We've been here before, haven't we? Losing players like Morelos, Kent, and Goldson for buttons, or worse, for nothing, has left a sour taste. Meanwhile, Celtic are shipping players off for 10, 15, even £20 million and reinvesting like it's second nature. It's frustrating, to say the least. Raskin, though, has the makings of a player who could change that. His performance against Spurs last week was top class. Most touches, most passes, and the engine of the midfield against some serious opposition. When Chris Boyd calls a performance unbelievable, you know you're on to something. Here's the reality. If Raskin keeps putting in these kinds of shifts, especially in Europe, the big clubs are going to come knocking. He's young, he's talented, and the stats back him up. If we play this right, he could fetch a massive fee, something we need if we want to reinvest properly and build a squad that can consistently challenge for silverware. But here's the question for you. If the money comes in, say £10 million or more, should Rangers sell Raskin, or is he too important to this team's future success? Would cashing in be progress, or would it just set us back again? Well, it looks like Rangers might be dipping back into the Moroccan market, and if Hamza Igamane is anything to go by, that's not a bad shout. With the injury situation at the back turning into a bit of a nightmare, John Sutar crocked Neraisho Kasan-Wirjo sent packing. It's no wonder Philippe Clement and Niels Koppen are scouting high and low for reinforcements. Enter Hatim Essawabi. At 24, the lad's got a decent age on his side, and by all accounts, he's been impressing for FAR Rabat. Clearly, Rangers see something there if they've already been in touch with his club. And let's be honest, we've had far worse ideas in the transfer market in recent years, haven't we? If he turns out anything like Igamane, who's quickly becoming a real favorite, then this could be another smart bit of business. The key here is consistency. For too long, Rangers' transfer dealings have been all over the place. Big money spent on players who don't cut it, others walking away for free, and not enough profit being made when we do unearth a gem. If Koppen's plan to establish Rangers in emerging markets can keep delivering talent like Igamane, then Moroccan football could be a goldmine for us. And let's face it, we need fresh blood at the back. Leon Balogun isn't getting any younger, and Robin Proper can't do it all himself. But here's something to think about. Are Rangers putting too much focus on markets like Morocco? Or is this just the modern way of finding talent for a club our size? Should we be targeting more experienced players from closer to home? Or is tapping into emerging markets like this the way forward? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.